Thursday live stream. Welcome back again. Yeah, thank you for joining us and watching this whenever or consuming it whenever. If you're on the regular Law Firm Marketing Minute podcast or if you're joining in live or watching afterwards, really do appreciate it. This week, or at least in today's episode, wanted to talk about what you can do internally to just create a great client experience. And first of all, why is that important? Obviously, every small business out there is going to want to provide the best customer service. That's one of those pay to play things, pay for play things that we talk about in the business world where it's just like it's a given, right? Like one of your differentiators can't be that you provide great customer service because it's just like that's what's expected. Customers don't go work with a business expecting to have a bad time. They hope that everything goes smoothly and that they're always kept up to date on what's going on and all of that. And so when we're talking about the things that you can do to provide a better customer experience, man, there's just some small things that you can do to really help yourself stand out and to create some of those raving fans that we talk about who are going to be ambassadors for your firm, who are going to drive referrals, that you're going to be the only firm that they refer to all the time. And it keeps you top of mind with them. And so, in just kind of talking about a couple of those things, like one of the things you can do is just really build a client centric culture around your firm. And so, what does that mean? It's about, it starts with the people who are answering the phones. Does your receptionist just like law firm when they answer the phone? Like, if they are, you need to change that fast because it's terrible. All right. First of all, there are multiple law firms in your area. Second, they might, people calling might want to make sure that they're calling the right business. Businesses change addresses all the time. If they're looking you up on like a Google Maps listing or something like that, man, people just want to make sure that they're calling right for. So, that high energy that sounds happy to have received a phone call. That's where it starts. But then beyond that, quick responses. Even if you set up some automations to keep people apprised of what's going on in their case, that goes such a long way. One of the biggest knocks on law firms is that they just ghost people all the time, and it's like pulling teeth to try to get a response or an update out of people. Don't be that firm. Like, you can get miles ahead of your competitors just by being responsive and having maybe like a 24-hour rule where, at least on weekdays, business hours, you respond to everyone within 24 hours. And so small things like that, where the client's overall experience and happiness um, is one of your top priorities. That's what goes a long way towards giving people those good feelings. And so, one of the things that we've done here at Spotlight Branding it with our clients and other people who have asked for it is we have done like a little secret shop. And so basically what that means is we'll pose as someone, we'll call your firm and just kind of go through that initial sort of process, getting information, how knowledgeable is your staff? How happy are they to help? What kind of suggestions do they make? All of that. And then we can provide the recording of the call or just have another sit down with you to just kind of go over, hey, this was really good. Maybe this is where they need improvement, stuff like that. And so doing small things like that can go a really long way towards identifying where you can improve, right? Second thing, and I do want to really hit on this, is just making it easy for people to communicate with your office. And so, this is more beyond just responding on your end quickly, but like, make it easy for people to get on your calendar or to speak with someone, to book an appointment, a consultation, whatever. Make it easy for people to provide feedback, and give people multiple options to do that. Make sure that you have someone monitoring multiple lines of communication. So for example, you can have a website chat feature on your website, and there are some programs out there that allow you to natively monitor that. Well, not you as the employer, please don't be doing that. But maybe your front desk one, who maybe your marketing person, who's monitoring that website chat. They're engaging with people on the website in real time, fielding questions, all that. Maybe you have, someone monitoring your Facebook messages. That's another big way. Maybe you have, dedicated or at least very responsive email, responders or automations. Like I said, something where you have a lot of different ways to get in touch with people. Um, do that all, have those same systems in place also at various points throughout the time that someone's working with you. So, like, you know, have options in place for someone to make that initial contact, get on your calendar, book a consultation, whatever the case is. But then after they retain you, have different things in place along the way so that you can get feedback from them. How are we doing? How has things been so far? Do you have any recommendations for us? Who can you leave a review here? Yelp, Google reviews, Facebook reviews, maybe somewhere else. Although if you're still on there, give people the option and the ability to, put that out. Have a dedicated testimonials page on your website as well, just as a side note, to give people that are doing their research the ability to see that social proof that you're the right person to work with, right? um, on that note of feedback, yeah, like I said, just, you know when it comes to generating referrals, and I guess it also kind of depends on what your definition of a referral is. But, like, even if it's not a direct referral, having a positive review can work just as easily because it could help solidify someone else's decision to hire you. People, whether they come through via referral or not, they're going to look at your reviews. Just my generation, the ones below me, were conditioned to kind of just look at these rating systems as at least an initial gauge of how good a business is to work with. And so even if you have 5 stars, but you only have 2 ratings, maybe that isn't necessarily going to be as effective as having a 4 star rating with 100 reviews. It's that balance, we talk about with content marketing. There's a balance between quality and quantity. It's the same thing with your reviews. You want to make sure that you have a lot of good reviews. If you get a negative one, respond to it, be open about it, communicate, do what you can to kind of assuage that situation. But yeah, just, give people options. Don't make it difficult for them to try to figure out what they need to do next. Give people options, make it as easy as they possibly can. But the thing to keep in mind is just do one thing at a time. Don't be like, hey, could you leave a review here, but then also do this thing and also do this thing, because people don't want to be asked to do multiple things at once. But if you ask them to do one thing, but then give them options on how to do that one thing, that's what's effective, right? The other thing is, and one of the things that will take a little bit of time and effort on your end, but will really make a big difference, is to, at least in some small ways, personalize the way that each person experiences working with your firm. So maybe you have on your intake form just some more personal questions, things like, what do they like, when's their birthday, where do they like to go eat, what kind of hobbies do they like. We do that here. When a client signs on with us and they have their initial intake call with their account manager, we try to learn some things about them so that if we, send them a gift along the way, it's not going to be something random. It's going to be something that they've expressed interest in along the way, something that shows that we're listening and all that. And so, if a client, talks about how they like, maybe they work in St. Louis, they like the St. Louis Cardinals, like, we'll send them a hat or we'll send them tickets to a game or something like that, where it's like, hey, we hear you, we appreciate you, thank you for sending us that referral the other day. Here's a little token of our appreciation. Small things like that can help keep people engaged, keep people reminded of how great your firm is. And look, and I know there might be some ethical concerns around gifts and stuff like that, depending on what state you're in, but you can find other creative ways to reward that behavior or to show your appreciation in some form, something like that. Right. But the last thing, and this is huge, it's, don't don't just take this relationship as a short term, sort of thing with a finite beginning and a finite end. Um, you as a lawyer can provide a ton of value to people long after you've worked with them. You know, I think about family lawyers, for example. Especially if you're handling a lot of divorces, I think in an ideal world, you don't want to keep handling divorces for the same person. But the way that you can still find ways to continue to provide value to people, after you finalize the divorce for them. For example, you like, and you do this in the content that you are putting out. So the content's just like, hey, check out this article on 5 ways that you can you know get back into the dating world after a divorce, or ways to heal and provide self-care to get over this hugely traumatic situation that you've just gone through, stuff like that. Business lawyers, maybe they helped someone uh, build their business. Well, now after the fact, you can provide content, check in, just be like, hey, how are things going? Do we need to audit your policies and procedures? Do we need to make sure that, you're up to code and following all of the regulations, or whatever it is, all of the different things that you have to do? And you can continue to provide value in a ton of different ways after you have already worked with them, and they've paid you for the thing that they retained you to do for them. So um, they're small things. They're things that don't require a ton of work, a ton of extra time, but make a huge difference, because at that point, your customers aren't just feeling like they're another transaction. They feel like you do genuinely care. And maybe you do. Maybe you truly do care about each person, but you've struggled to kind of show that and express that. These are small things that you can do to do that. All right. We've got an article up on our Spotlight website, Spotlight Branding website, in the Spotlight Insider section. 5 tips to help create a great client experience. Check that article out. It covers the things that we talked about today, but that's going to be it. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember to check out our Spotlight Branding 2022 Legal Marketing Trends Report. You can go to spotlightbranding.com/trends22 to get your free copy of that. A ton of great data. Can't wait to actually get started on the 2023 report. We're going to get that out a little bit earlier than we did for the 2022 one this year. But yeah, can't wait to get all of that going out. So just go to spotlightbranding.com/trends22. It's also on the homepage of our website at spotlightbranding.com. You can download your free copy there. And that's going to be it. We will